Hey all, this is my first video and it's about real-time communication between two devices. I can give a very quick demo here. As you can see, I've got a to-do list with a couple of tasks, and both these devices are holding the same piece of data. And as you can see, if I have my watch on and I turn my task off, you can see that the task up here has also reflected the change. And if I do the same to the second task, sample task 1, you can see that has changed to reflect the same states as we have on the watch. Now I haven't done the reverse just yet, but it's just going to be the same thing anyway, and that'll be pretty easy to do. But the main drive of this is, I can show you update application context. The main driver is this method right here, which can be found on your WC session object. No, WC session class. This is my session object. But you call that on your phone or your watch, and this method here, did receive application context, will be triggered on the counterpart app. So if I call from the watch, if I call my session dot update application context method with the dictionary with a piece of data dictionary that I'm going to pass through, then this method will be triggered. And if I do that, this method will be triggered on the phone. Now if I do this on the phone, this method will be triggered on the watch. Pretty simple, huh? And that is pretty much how we communicate between the two, but I'm gonna go a bit more in depth. Because there are a couple of things like how do I reflect these changes to the UI? Because the way I've set it up is that I have a watch session handler, and this knows nothing about my main view controller, which holds this table view here. So how do I update my UI if I have no reference to my main view controller? And we'll go through that a bit later after I give you a few tips about it. So I was going to do a full-blown tutorial, but I've decided to just give you a few rough tips on how to get this communication working, real-time communication working between two devices. Basically you should have your you should have your WC session delegate set up on both sides of your devices. So I've got this on my iPhone side, and I've got the same session. I've got the same session delegate here on my watch side. This is my watch interface controller here, which represents this screen, this table view right here. So yeah, like this is my watch side. So imagine I'm on the iPhone side and I have my session, and I call update application context with a dictionary, which accepts a dictionary as an argument. that dictionary is passed here, as you can see right there, as application context, and I've printed it out just to make sure that I'm getting the data, and I've also given a key. Don't forget to label your key so you know what you're receiving and where you're receiving it from. I need to create a set of enums or something, just organize and put them all into one area. But that's pretty much it. Like you just call update application context on the iPhone or on the Apple Watch side, and then as long as you have your did receive application context method, you should be receiving, it should be calling, and it should be triggering this method right there. Don't forget to set the delegate as well, self, like a lot of people forget, and then the method doesn't call. On the iPhone side, I've done that here as well. Session delegator, delegate. My session delegator is pretty much this class here that I've put into as a property for session.delegate. Okay, so and tip number 2. So using UUID, a unique identifier, to force send data to the counterpart application. Yeah, you can do that. Actually, I should probably do this. I'm not sure if you noticed that. I'll use this as an example. Actually, it's not there. Task limit. Okay, here we go. Actually, no, that's not it. So tip 2, you can use a unique identifier to force send data, because sometimes the data might be stale or hasn't changed. You can use this to force a change, because it'll create a unique string, and that will force data to be sent between 2 devices. It'll let you know if you've set up your delegate methods properly. Tip number 3. So I'm using core data in this project here. It's a lot of people would just say that it's overkill, etc., etc. But yeah, I needed to do it because I need to learn about it. I'd already used it in my other application that's on the store right now called Everytime. Almost forgot the name. That's on the store right now, and that's using core data, but I'm using another setup that's I think that follows best practices a lot better. You can find tutorials through Google. Coco Casts has some good ones. Ray Venderlick as well. But anyway, I'm using my fetch results controller, which is up here. My fetched results controller, and as you can see, I'm fetching the day. why am I fetching a day? Because I've set up my core data like this, one as a one-to-many. A day has many tasks, and tasks belong to one day. The reason why I've set it up like that is, well, I've got some other properties within day that I want there that doesn't really belong under task. Really, I mean, I think a lot of people would have done this. Oops. A lot of people would have just done this, like task and day, and then they would have like got their sort descriptor and then, you know, done it by date or something, or created at, you know, same property. But yeah, I feel like that just putting them into their own entities, I feel like that's a lot better. Okay, so why am I bringing up this day fetch request? It's because of the way I've set up my core data and how I'm setting data to my watch. As you can see that my watch is only showing tasks, and I'm just sending the tasks over. I'm not sending any day. I'm not sending any information about the day right now, just the tasks themselves. So why does that matter? And this is why it matters, because I was spending quite some time figuring out why this wasn't updating. It's because since my fetch results controller, it wasn't updating. It wasn't updating, as you can see. It wasn't updating because my day, there hadn't been any changes to it yet. That's why I've put this right here, which I'll probably change this to something like task data phone. Keep in mind that this is a day object, so I'll probably set up another property where it's like did update or something like that, and then I'll reset it just so that I'm making a change, because that's what I'm detecting when I save the context. That is the other major thing here, is that when I save the context, I need to this is in my main, which is this screen here, just this table view here. I need to detect when the controller did change right here. So tip 3, this is about, this only really matters to you if you've been using core data and that you used fetched results controller. I think this is the only way to actually get your, to actually find a bridge between your view controller from your session delegator, or from your watch session handler, because these are two different classes and they pretty much don't know anything about each other. And what we can do is use NSFetchedResultsController to bridge these two classes, these two objects together, by detecting changes in the core data context and persistent store that is detected by NSFetchedResultsController delegate right here. As you can see, controller did change content. So I'll go over it, because one thing that was stopping me from getting this to work was that because that I was doing a fetch request on day, and because the fetched results controller is doing a fetch request on day and it's detecting changes on the day entity, I wasn't updating day at all. Why? Because I'm just sending data to I'm sending data back from my watch to my iPhone as just a list of tasks, and there was no data about day, nothing at all, which you can see right here. This is on the phone side. Get rid of all that crap. As you can see here, I've put this line here to update a property of day, just so that this method, the fetched, where is it? Where's the delegate? Oh yeah, fetch results delegate. Controller did change content, just so that this method here is called. Obviously I won't have this task limit updating all the time. I'll probably do like task data phone dot did update or something like that. Something I have to change later, but I just did that just to show that I need this line for it to update, and I can show you right now. I'll compile the target for the iPhone. How do you? Oh, there we go. I don't know how to use watch. I don't know. I don't know watch. Apple Watch, I mean. So, like, if I do that and update the task, you can see that this task on the phone side is not updated at all, which means that this did not detect any change in the persistent store of the day object, because our fetch results controller is based on day, right? So if I turn this back on and run it, let's get this up and run it, and there we go. You see our task state has been updated. There we go again. Okay, so that is something to look out for. The other thing that I found out last night was I actually had my data source. I think it's still here. Yeah, I actually have my data source, but I've updated to use fetched results controller because then I can use the NSFetchedResultsController delegate to detect changes in my core data. That is the other major thing that you need to put in to bridge the two and detect any changes made to your persistent store. And yeah, I think that's about it really. Okay, good luck.